In the year 2424, the galaxy was on the brink of change, though not the kind any human had anticipated. Humanity had spread across space, settling on distant planets and mingling with alien civilizations. Peaceful coexistence had been the aim, and for decades it seemed achievable. That is until the broadcast that echoed across human and alien devices alike, shattering the fragile peace. The message came from the Graxel, a powerful alien species known for their advanced technology and formidable military strength. Their leader, Supreme Commander Vrox, appeared on screens, his voice resonant and unyielding. "People of Earth and its colonies," Vrox began, his slit eyes glaring from beneath his armored exoskeleton. "Our patience has reached its end. For too long, we have tolerated humanity's expansion and interference. Today, we reclaim our territories and resources. Prepare for war or surrender. You have 3 days to respond." The transmission cut abruptly, leaving a wave of shock and fear in its wake. Across human worlds, leaders scrambled to respond. Emergency meetings were convened, military forces put on high alert, and citizens fell into panic. On Earth, the newly elected President Lara Sims faced her first major crisis. Known for her diplomatic prowess and unshakable calm, Sims addressed the world with a resolve that belied the gravity of the situation. "My fellow citizens," she stated, standing before the United Nations Assembly, "we are faced with a threat unlike any other. The Graxel's declaration of war is not just an attack on our sovereignty, but on our very existence. However, we will not cower or capitulate. We will stand united as we have always done, and we will defend our freedom." As her speech was broadcasted globally, humanity's resolve hardened. Meanwhile, in the darker corners of space, a clandestine meeting was taking place. A group of elite human commanders and alien allies who opposed the Graxel's expansionist policies gathered to form a covert resistance. Among them was Captain Elias Ford, a seasoned veteran known for his unconventional tactics and deep knowledge of Graxel technology. Ford spoke, his voice low and urgent. "We need to hit them where it hurts most, their supply lines and communication networks. If we disrupt their operations, we can buy Earth enough time to mount a significant defense." The plan was risky, requiring precise coordination and secrecy. The group agreed to form small, agile teams to carry out a series of hit-and-run attacks on key Graxel outposts. Back on Earth, as the deadline loomed, the human forces prepared for the worst. Spacecraft were retrofitted for combat, and every able citizen was enlisted to help in the war effort. Meanwhile, Lara Sims worked tirelessly, reaching out to other alien civilizations for support, some of whom were also threatened by the Graxel. As the third day approached, a defiant message was sent back to the Graxel from President Sims. "Humanity will not surrender. We are ready to defend our future. Good luck." And with that, the war began. In the deep void of space, the first skirmishes erupted. Human and allied alien forces engaged Graxel ships in fierce battles. Despite their technological superiority, the Graxel were taken aback by the ferocity and ingenuity of human tactics. Captain Ford's team successfully disabled a Graxel armory station, seizing weapons and delivering a significant blow to their supply chain. Meanwhile, on the home front, factories worked round the clock, producing ships, weapons, and shields. The war was not without its casualties, and the cost was high on both sides. But humanity's spirit remained unbroken, their resolve fueled by the desire for freedom and the right to exist peacefully. As the first chapter of the war closed, the galaxy watched in awe of humanity's tenacity. It was clear that while the Graxel had initiated the conflict, overcoming the united front of humanity and its allies would be no easy task. As the war escalated, the front lines extended across multiple star systems, each becoming a chessboard of strategic maneuvers and brutal confrontations. Humanity's resistance was more formidable than the Graxel had anticipated, and it wasn't just the human military that stood in defiance. It was every civilian, every child, every person who had something to lose. The mood on Earth was one of grim determination. In major cities, vast crowds gathered to witness President Sims's addresses, which were broadcast live from an undisclosed military bunker. Her words became a beacon of hope and a call to arms for all who heard them. "We are not merely fighting for survival," she proclaimed in one of her most passionate speeches. "We are fighting for the principle that no species has the right to subjugate another. We fight for our future, and let me tell you, our spirit is indomitable." Meanwhile, in space, Captain Ford's squadron, known as the Ghost Hawks, became legendary for their daring raids. Their next mission was critical: a direct assault on the Graxel's primary communication hub in the Zeta sector. If successful, it would sever the Graxel Command's ability to coordinate their forces effectively across the front. The Ghost Hawks approached the hub under the cover of a meteor shower, using the chaotic natural phenomenon as camouflage. Their ships, patched and repainted with scraps from defeated Graxel vessels, blended into the rocky debris. As they neared the hub, the intensity of the mission weighed heavily on Ford. "Remember, this is about more than just disrupting their networks," he briefed his team. "It's about showing them that we can strike at the heart of their empire. We do this, and we turn the tide." The battle was fierce. Graxel defenders swarmed the attackers, their laser fire illuminating the dark void. But the humans pressed on, driven by a fierce desire to reclaim their freedom. Explosions rocked the hub as the Ghost Hawks planted charges along its infrastructure. With a final resounding blast, the communication arrays shattered into a million pieces, floating lifelessly in space. Back on Earth, news of the victory spread like wildfire. Celebrations erupted not just for the tactical win, but for the proof it provided. The Graxel could be beaten. However, the Graxel were not idle in their response. Enraged by the continuous setbacks, Supreme Commander Vrox launched a counteroffensive, targeting Earth directly. Massive warships appeared in Earth's orbit, their weapons charging for a devastating strike. The defense systems, upgraded with alien technology and operated by both military and civilian volunteers, sprang to life. The skies above Earth became a spectacle of light and sound as human forces engaged the Graxel Leviathans. On the ground, in a fortified command center, President Sims and her advisors monitored the situation. The battle's outcome was uncertain, and the tension in the room was palpable. Then, in a bold move, Sims decided to open a communication channel to Vrox. "This is President Lara Sims of Earth," she declared, her voice resolute. "Your attempts to break us have failed. We offer you one last chance to end this conflict. Withdraw your forces or face the consequences." Rox's sneering face appeared on the screen. "Your planet will be reduced to ashes," he threatened. Sims met his gaze without flinching. "Then you will have to go through me and every single person on this planet. We are ready. Are you?" The line went dead. The battle raged on, and Earth's fate hung in the balance. As the battle for Earth raged on, humanity's resilience shone brightly against the dark backdrop of space. President Lara Sims' bold defiance against Supreme Commander Vrox resonated through every human heart, igniting a fierce will to survive and protect their home. Meanwhile, Captain Ford and the Ghost Hawks, fresh from their victory at the communication hub, raced back to join Earth's defenses. In orbit, the Graxel warships unleashed a barrage of energy blasts, each one capable of catastrophic damage. Earth's orbital defense network, a web of satellites equipped with laser interceptors, worked feverishly to neutralize the threats. Below, cities were shielded by energy domes, shimmering under the strain of continuous bombardment. The command center was a flurry of activity, with military strategists and alien allies working side by side. Sims, standing before a giant hollow map of the battlefield, analyzed the incoming data. "We need to disrupt their formation," she declared. "If we can create an opening, we can send a strike team to hit them where it hurts." Her advisors quickly coordinated a plan. Using a group of decoy ships, they lured a section of the Graxel fleet away from the main body, creating a gap. The Ghost Hawks, along with a squadron of allied alien fighters, darted through this opening. Captain Ford, leading the charge, targeted the Graxel flagship. "This is for Earth," he whispered as he released a volley of plasma torpedoes. The flagship's shields flickered under the assault, and a cheer erupted in the command center as they saw the ship reel from the impact. Back on Earth, the civilian populace was not idle. Communities underground and in reinforced structures kept the wheels of industry turning, producing munitions and repairing damaged ships and equipment. The war had pulled everyone into its orbit, and every hand contributed to the survival effort. In the midst of the chaos, a secret message arrived for President Sims from an unexpected source. An emissary from a neutral alien race, the Talari, requested a clandestine meeting. Curious and cautious, Sims agreed. The Talari, known for their advanced cloaking technology, offered a weapon that could turn the tide of the war. "We do not wish to see the galaxy dominated by the Graxel," the Talari emissary explained. "This device can temporarily disable their ship's power cores. Use it wisely." Grateful for the unexpected aid, Sims ordered the device to be integrated into the next assault wave. As the Ghost Hawks regrouped, they were joined by Talari engineers who installed the device on Ford's ship. With the new weapon in tow, Ford led another daring assault. As they approached the Graxel fleet, the device was activated, sending a pulse of energy that cascaded through the enemy ships. One by one, the Graxel vessels lost power, drifting helplessly in space. The command center erupted in applause, but Sims remained focused. "Prepare the ground teams for boarding. It's time to end this," she commanded. Special forces teams from various human colonies, trained for zero-gravity combat, launched from Earth. They boarded the disabled Graxel ships, engaging in intense close-quarters battles. The Graxel, caught off guard and struggling without power, were swiftly overwhelmed. As the news of the successful boarding action spread, morale soared. Humanity was not just defending, it was winning. The Graxel, realizing the tide had turned against them, began to retreat. Supreme Commander Vrox, in a final act of defiance, attempted to rally his forces, but the unity and ferocity of the human-led alliance proved too strong. With their fleet crippled and their commander captured, the Graxel were forced to negotiate. The war had ended as suddenly as it had begun, with Earth and its allies emerging victorious. In the aftermath, President Sims addressed the galaxy, her voice carrying a message of hope and unity. "Let this victory be a reminder of our strength when we stand together. Let us move forward, not as separate species fighting for dominance, but as a united community, guarding our shared future." As peace settled over the galaxy, Earth began to rebuild, strengthened by new alliances and a renewed sense of purpose. The war had tested them, but it had also brought forth a new era of cooperation and understanding. In the aftermath of the war, Earth and its allies faced the monumental task of rebuilding. The destruction had been extensive, but so too was the spirit of resilience that the conflict had forged among the varied inhabitants of the galaxy. President Lara Sims, now revered as a unifying figure, spearheaded the reconstruction efforts, emphasizing collaboration and mutual growth among all species. Cities on Earth that had been scars of the bombardments slowly rose anew, featuring designs that blended human architecture with alien technology, creating landscapes that were both functional and inspiring. Beyond Earth, human colonies and alien worlds worked to repair the damages, sharing resources and technologies as per the treaties formulated in the war's wake. Captain Elias Ford, hailed as a hero, took on a new role as an ambassador to the Graxel territories. Despite their defeat, many Graxel were skeptical of human intentions. Ford's mission was to foster trust and cooperation between the former foes, a task he approached with a mix of determination and humility. His first speech on a Graxel world was broadcast across the galaxy. "We come not as conquerors, but as partners, ready to build a future together, where war is a memory, not a threat." Meanwhile, the Talari, who had played a crucial role in turning the tide of the war, became valuable allies. Their technology, particularly in stealth and energy efficiency, was crucial in the galaxy's rebuilding phase. The Talari emissary, Shyla, worked closely with human engineers to integrate this technology, improving energy grids and transportation networks galaxy-wide. However, not all was smooth in the post-war galaxy. Fringe elements, comprising those who had profited from the war or who clung to old prejudices, posed a new kind of threat. Splinter groups, both human and alien, began to emerge, challenging the new order with acts of sabotage and terrorism. President Sims, aware of these challenges, formed the Galactic Peace Network, GPN, a multi-species task force designed to address these threats. She appointed a young but highly decorated officer, Commander Tanya Lee, to lead the GPN. Lee's first task was to dismantle a radical human supremacist group that had attacked a joint human-Telari facility. Under Lee's leadership, the GPN conducted a series of operations that were as much about intelligence and diplomacy as they were about force. Lee believed that understanding the root causes of dissent and addressing them was key to long-term peace. Her approach led to several successful resolutions without bloodshed, earning her a reputation as a skilled peacekeeper. Amidst these efforts, Earth hosted the first Galactic Unity Festival, a celebration of the diverse cultures and species of the galaxy. The festival featured art, music, and food from hundreds of worlds, with performances that blended different traditions into new, mesmerizing experiences. President Sims and Ambassador Ford both spoke at the event, highlighting the progress made and the work still ahead. But as the festival drew to a close, an unexpected event unfolded. During a live broadcast, an assassination attempt on President Sims was thwarted by the swift action of Commander Lee and her team. The perpetrator was a member of a radical alien faction opposed to interspecies alliances. The incident served as a stark reminder that peace was still fragile. Yet it also demonstrated the effectiveness of the new security measures and the commitment of the galaxy's leaders to maintain unity. As the galaxy continued to heal and grow, new challenges and opportunities arose. Trade routes expanded into new territories, scientific collaborations led to breakthroughs in medicine and energy, and cultural exchanges enriched the social fabric of countless worlds. President Sims, reflecting on the journey, addressed the galaxy once more. Our unity has been tested, but it holds strong. We must remain vigilant, compassionate, and courageous as we forge this new path together. Let the stars above remind us of our shared light, and let us never again stray into the darkness of division. As the galaxy moved forward, the stories of war receded into history, replaced by tales of cooperation, bravery, and a shared commitment to a peaceful future. As the galaxy settled into a rhythm of recovery and growth, new challenges and opportunities began to emerge, shaping the post-war world into a complex mosaic of alliances and tensions. Despite the strides toward unity and peace, shadows of the past loomed, threatening to disrupt the delicate balance that had been achieved. Commander Tanya Lee, now the director of the Galactic Peace Network, GPN, faced the challenge of addressing these threats while fostering the ideals of cooperation and trust. Her latest mission involved investigating a mysterious surge in pirate activity in the Outer Rim, a region where lawlessness had always been a problem, but had worsened in the aftermath of the war. The pirates, a motley coalition of various species, including disgruntled humans and aliens, had begun attacking supply ships carrying crucial materials for reconstruction. Their increasingly bold strikes threatened not only the physical rebuilding efforts, but also the symbolic unity that the new alliances represented. Back on Earth, President Sims convened a meeting with her top advisors and representatives from the affected regions. Among them was Ambassador Ford, whose deep understanding of the Graxel and other former enemy factions made him invaluable in navigating the complex political landscape. "We need a concerted effort to address these attacks," President Sims declared, "not just with military might, but with intelligence and diplomacy. We must understand who leads these pirates and what their endgame is." Ford nodded, his expression grave. "Many of these groups are led by war veterans who feel abandoned by the galaxy. They see piracy not just as a means of survival, but as a form of resistance against what they perceive as a new order that excludes them." Determined to find a solution that didn't solely rely on force, Lee proposed a daring plan. "What if we infiltrate these pirate groups? If we can understand their structure and motivations, perhaps we can find a way to reintegrate them into society, or at least mitigate the damage they're causing." With Sims' approval, Lee organized a covert operation. She recruited a small team of specialists, both human and alien, who could blend in with the pirate crews. Among them was Kai Laran, a former smuggler with extensive contacts in the Outer Rim. Kai's expertise and charismatic personality made him the perfect candidate for this high-risk diplomacy. As Kai and his team ventured into the pirate haven, they found a community rife with desperation and anger. Kai engaged with the pirates, sharing stories and gradually earning their trust. Over time, he learned that a charismatic leader, an alien named Zorath, had united the pirates under a common cause, preaching resistance against the tyranny of the new galactic order. Kai relayed this information back to Lee, who began to piece together a more comprehensive picture of the political undercurrents driving the piracy. It wasn't just criminal activity. It was a political movement, born from the unresolved conflicts and injustices of the war. Armed with this knowledge, Lee approached President Sims with a proposal for a new initiative. "We need a reintegration program," she suggested, "one that addresses the needs of these disenfranchised groups, offering them a path back into society that respects their grievances and provides real opportunities." President Sims agreed, recognizing the potential for this program to serve as a model for dealing with similar issues throughout the galaxy. The program would include job training, education, and counseling services, as well as opportunities for political representation. As the program was rolled out, Kai continued his negotiations with Zorath, offering him and his followers a chance to be pioneers of this new initiative. After tense negotiations, Zorath agreed to a ceasefire, intrigued by the prospect of achieving his goals through political means rather than violence. The ceasefire marked a significant victory for Lee and her team, showcasing the power of diplomacy and understanding in resolving conflicts. The news spread quickly, inspiring other regions to consider similar approaches to their own troubles. As the galaxy watched, a new chapter began to unfold, one where the shadows of the past were acknowledged and addressed, not with force, but with compassion and courage. The road ahead remained fraught with challenges, but for the first time in a long time, there was a palpable sense of hope that perhaps true peace was within reach. The successful ceasefire with the pirate factions marked a turning point in the galaxy's recovery. Commander Tanya Lee's reintegration program became a beacon of hope, showcasing the potential of addressing systemic issues through comprehensive social initiatives rather than purely militaristic solutions. This program not only provided practical solutions to immediate problems, but also sowed seeds of long-term peace and stability. As the program gained traction, Lee found herself at the forefront of a new wave of diplomatic efforts. Her approach, which emphasized understanding and rehabilitation over punishment, was recognized across the galaxy as a model for conflict resolution. Her office, once a hub of military strategies, transformed into a think tank for peace-building strategies. Meanwhile, on Earth, President Sims continued to champion these innovative approaches at the Galactic Council, an assembly of leaders from various star systems formed in the aftermath of the war. The Council had been initially skeptical of the reintegration program, concerned it might encourage impunity among other potential rebel factions. However, the tangible results from the pirate ceasefire and the declining rates of galactic crime spoke volumes. Ambassador Ford, now a senior advisor to President Sims, worked closely with her to draft new legislation that would provide frameworks for similar programs across the galaxy. "We're not just rebuilding worlds," Ford often said in council meetings. "We're rebuilding lives, reshaping societies to be inclusive and just. This is our path to a durable peace." As the political landscape shifted towards these progressive policies, new challenges emerged. Not all sectors of the galaxy welcomed change. The industrial magnates of the mining colonies, whose fortunes had soared during the war due to the high demand for raw materials, viewed the shifting priorities towards social programs with disdain. They lobbied hard against the new policies, fearing a dip in their profits. In response, Lee undertook a diplomatic tour of the mining colonies. She met with colony leaders and industrialists, listening to their concerns and negotiating terms that would align their economic interests with the galaxy's broader goals of peace and prosperity. Her pragmatism and transparency in handling these negotiations earned her respect, even among her staunchest critics. On the cultural front, the Galactic Unity Festival had evolved into a regular event, celebrated in different systems each year. These festivals became hubs for cultural exchange and diplomacy, promoting unity through diversity. Here, artists, musicians, and scholars from various planets gathered, weaving the fabric of a shared galactic identity through their art and ideas. Kai Laron, once a mediator with pirates, now served as an ambassador at large, traveling to various cultural events, promoting interstellar cooperation. His personal journey from smuggler to diplomat was featured in many galactic publications, symbolizing the potential for transformation and redemption. Back on Earth, as another Unity Festival drew near, President Sims prepared to host delegates from newly allied systems. However, just days before the festival, an assassination attempt targeted her once again. This time, the assailants were captured alive, and the interrogation revealed a disturbing connection to the industrial magnates of the mining colonies. This revelation posed a new kind of threat, one that stemmed from within the power structures of the galaxy itself. Lee, working closely with security forces, unraveled a network of corruption that extended deep into the economic systems that had fueled the war. As the festival commenced, amidst heightened security and a cloud of tension, President Sims addressed the assembly, her voice firm and inspiring. "Let this challenge remind us that the fight for peace is continuous. We must be vigilant and determined, for the forces that seek to divide us are relentless. But so are we. Together, we have transformed our galaxy from a battleground to a community. We will defend our unity, our peace, at all costs." The crowd erupted in applause, their spirits lifted by her resolve. The festival went on, not just as a celebration of cultures, but as a defiant affirmation of the galaxy's commitment to peace and justice. In the aftermath of the assassination attempt on President Sims, the galaxy was on high alert. The revelation of a deep-seated corruption network intertwined with the galaxy's industrial magnates brought a new level of tension to the interstellar political arena. Commander Tanya Lee, now recognized as a skilled diplomat and strategist, took the lead in unraveling the corruption that threatened the newfound peace. Simultaneously, a wave of unrest began to sweep through the mining colonies. The industrialists, feeling threatened by the galactic shift towards social equity and peace, intensified their opposition. Strikes and protests erupted on several mining planets, spurred by both genuine worker grievances and manipulations by the magnates who sought to destabilize the system. President Sims, undeterred by the assassination attempt, saw an opportunity to address the root causes of the unrest. She proposed a radical new initiative, the Fair Share Program. This program aimed to redistribute wealth more equitably across the galaxy, ensuring that mining colonies benefited directly from their resources, rather than seeing the wealth siphoned off by powerful corporate entities. Ambassador Ford, tasked with presenting this initiative to the Galactic Council, faced significant resistance. The industrial lobby was powerful, and many council members were swayed by their arguments that the program would stifle economic growth. However, Ford, leveraging his deep understanding of both human and alien politics, crafted a compelling case that framed the Fair Share program not only as a moral imperative, but as a stabilizing force for the galaxy. As debates raged in the council, Lee worked tirelessly on the ground, navigating the complex socio-political landscape of the mining colonies. She engaged with local leaders, workers' unions, and corporate executives, mediating tough discussions and forging tentative alliances. Her efforts were crucial in preventing the unrest from escalating into open rebellion. Meanwhile, Kai Laron's role as an ambassador at large took on a new dimension. He was sent to the fringe areas of the galaxy, where he uncovered further evidence of illicit activities by the industrial magnates, including illegal arms trading and exploitation of unprotected alien species. His reports added urgency to the need for systemic change, bolstering the case for the Fair Share program. Back on Earth, as President Sims prepared for the final vote on the program, she was confronted with a personal crisis. Her daughter, who had been actively involved in relief efforts in one of the most troubled mining colonies, was kidnapped by unknown assailants. The incident was a calculated move to sway Sims and shake her resolve. Despite the personal toll, Sims remained steadfast. She addressed the galaxy in a broadcast that was both a plea for unity and a defiant stand against those who sought to manipulate policy through terror. "My commitment to our collective future is unshakable," she declared. No act of violence will deter us from pursuing a just and equitable society. The galactic community rallied around her. Messages of support poured in from all corners of the galaxy, and the public outcry against the kidnapping put additional pressure on the industrial magnates. In a dramatic session of the Galactic Council, the vote was cast. The Fair Share program was approved by a significant majority, marking a historic shift in galactic policy. This victory was soon followed by another when Sim's daughter was rescued by a covert team led by Commander Lee, who had traced the kidnappers back to a rogue faction within the industrial magnates. With her daughter safe and the Fair Share program set to become law, President Sim's leadership was hailed as visionary. The galaxy, though still rife with challenges, had taken a significant step toward a more equitable and peaceful future. Following the implementation of the Fair Share program, the galaxy experienced a remarkable transformation. Wealth began to flow more equitably across systems, invigorating underdeveloped regions and providing new opportunities for countless inhabitants. However, the success of the program also highlighted new challenges, as not all were willing to embrace this change. The shifts in power dynamics stirred unrest among those who had long benefited from the old system. In the midst of this transformative period, Commander Tanya Lee took on the role of overseeing the transition in the mining colonies, ensuring that the Fair Share program was implemented fairly and effectively. Her efforts were met with both praise and resistance, but her commitment to justice helped quell many potential conflicts. Ambassador Ford continued to navigate the complex interstellar politics, working tirelessly to strengthen the alliances that had been strained by economic upheaval. His diplomatic skills were crucial in maintaining the unity of the Galactic Council during this volatile period. Meanwhile, Kai Laron's role evolved beyond that of an ambassador. He founded the Galactic Cultural Initiative, a program designed to promote understanding and cooperation through cultural exchange. The initiative organized festivals, art exhibits, and educational programs that showcased the diversity of the galaxy's many species. Through these cultural events, old prejudices began to wane, replaced by a growing appreciation of the rich tapestry of galactic life. As the galaxy worked towards a new equilibrium, a new threat loomed on the horizon. A mysterious force known only as the Veil began to infiltrate various systems. Initially dismissed as a fringe group, the Veil quickly demonstrated a formidable ability to disrupt planetary networks and communications, sowing discord and fear. Commander Lee, tasked with investigating the Veil, discovered that it was not just a terrorist organization, but a complex network with deep roots in several advanced civilizations. Its agenda appeared to be the complete destabilization of the galactic order, aiming to replace it with an authoritarian regime that promised to restore order and purity to the galaxy. As the Veil's activities intensified, President Sims called for a special session of the Galactic Council to address this growing menace. In her address, she emphasized the need for unity and resilience. "We have come too far to allow shadows from our past to dictate our future," she declared. "Together, we must confront this threat, not with fear, but with the strength of our convictions and the bonds of our alliance." The Council voted unanimously to authorize a special task force to combat the Veil, with Commander Lee appointed as its leader. Equipped with the latest technology and supported by the best minds and warriors from across the galaxy, the task force began a covert operation to track down the leaders of the Veil and dismantle their infrastructure. Meanwhile, Kai Laren used the Galactic Cultural Initiative to counter the propaganda spread by the Veil. He highlighted stories of cooperation and mutual respect, showcasing the real-life benefits of the new galactic order. These stories resonated deeply with the public, undermining the Veil's narrative of fear and division. As the task force made progress, they uncovered surprising links between the Veil and some high-ranking officials in various governments, revealing a conspiracy that threatened the very core of galactic politics. The revelations led to a series of high-profile arrests, shaking the political landscape, but also reinforcing the resolve of the Galactic Council to stand united. With each victory against the Veil, the galaxy grew stronger, more interconnected, and more vigilant. The threat of the Veil was not just a challenge to be overcome, but a reminder of the importance of vigilance in safeguarding democracy and freedom. As the galaxy united against the shadowy threat of the Veil, Commander Tanya Lee's Special Task Force uncovered deeper layers of the conspiracy. Intelligence gathered pointed to a significant stronghold of the Veil, located in the remote and lawless edges of the Andromeda sector, a region known for its dark markets and elusive criminal syndicates. This stronghold was not just a base of operations, but also a hub for their ideological indoctrination. With the full support of President Sims and the Galactic Council, Commander Lee planned a decisive strike against this stronghold. The mission was not only to dismantle the Veil's operational capacity, but also to capture its leaders, hoping to gain invaluable insights into their network and prevent future threats. Simultaneously, Ambassador Ford, working tirelessly at the diplomatic front, ensured that the political alliances remained strong. He coordinated with the leaders of various systems, securing their logistical and intelligence support for the mission. His efforts solidified a broad coalition, demonstrating the galactic community's united front against threats to peace and security. Meanwhile, Kai Laron leveraged his galactic cultural initiative to promote unity and resilience among the galaxy's populace. He launched a series of broadcasts and interactive forums that highlighted the dangers of the Veil's divisive ideology and celebrated stories of cooperation and bravery from across the galaxy. These narratives inspired hope and strengthened the moral resolve of countless beings, reminding them of what they stood together to protect. The day of the strike arrived with a tense mix of anticipation and resolve. Commander Lee's task force, comprised of elite units from multiple species, approached the Andromeda sector under the cover of a cosmic nebula, using stealth technology borrowed from the Tylari. The approach was silent but swift, catching the sentries of the Veil off guard. As they breached the stronghold, intense combat ensued. The Veil's followers were fanatical, but the task force was better trained and better equipped. Room by room, they cleared the stronghold, disabling traps and overcoming barricades, pushing towards the central command where the leaders of the Veil were believed to be coordinating their operations. Back on Earth, President Sims monitored the operation from a secure command center, ready to provide any additional support needed. The global broadcast of the mission, with real-time updates, kept the galaxy's citizens on the edge of their seats, their hopes pinned on the success of Commander Lee and her team. In the heart of the stronghold, Lee and her team finally confronted the leaders of the Veil. A tense standoff ensued, with the task force vastly outnumbering the remaining Veil militants. Realizing their defeat was imminent, the leaders of the Veil attempted to negotiate for their lives, offering information in exchange for amnesty. However, Lee was resolute. "Your actions have caused too much suffering. There will be no deals. You will face justice." The leaders were taken into custody, and the stronghold was secured. In its depths, the task force discovered extensive archives and communication networks, revealing the breadth of the Veil's infiltration in various sectors of the galaxy. This intelligence would prove crucial in preventing future uprisings. The success of the mission was celebrated across the galaxy. It was not just a victory over a formidable enemy, but a reaffirmation of the strength of the Galactic Union. President Sims addressed the galaxy, her words resonating with a profound sense of accomplishment and hope. "Today we have not only defeated a threat to our peace, but have also demonstrated the indomitable spirit of our united galaxy. Let this victory be a reminder of our resilience and our commitment to safeguarding our shared future." As peace was restored, the galaxy began to look forward, inspired by the courage and cooperation that had defined their victory. The Fair Share program continued to reshape economies and lives, while diplomatic relations flourished under the steady guidance of Ambassador Ford. In the aftermath of the Veil's defeat, the galaxy entered a period of reflection and renewal. The successful dismantling of the group's stronghold marked not only the end of a significant threat, but also the beginning of a new era for galactic society. This era was characterized by a deeper commitment to the principles that had united the diverse populations during times of strife: cooperation, justice, and mutual respect. President Sims, now nearing the end of her term, focused on solidifying the changes that had reshaped the galaxy. The Fair Share program continued to be a cornerstone of her legacy. ensuring that the wealth generated by the galaxy's resources was distributed more equitably. Under this program, the previously marginalized mining colonies experienced a renaissance of culture and productivity, becoming hubs of innovation and education. Commander Tanya Lee, hailed as a hero for her leadership in defeating the Veil, was appointed head of the newly established Galactic Security Alliance, GSA. The GSA was tasked with maintaining peace and security across the galaxy, a role that involved not only military oversight, but also intelligence and diplomatic functions. Lee's approach to security was comprehensive, emphasizing the prevention of conflicts through community engagement and economic stability. Ambassador Ford continued to serve as a senior diplomat, his wisdom and experience invaluable in the ongoing efforts to integrate newer members into the Galactic Council. His diplomatic corps worked tirelessly to mediate disputes and foster understanding among diverse planetary cultures, ensuring that the scars left by past conflicts did not fester into new grievances. Kylo Ren's Galactic Cultural Initiative flourished, becoming a key institution in galactic society. It facilitated exchange programs, artistic collaborations, and interstellar conferences that celebrated the rich diversity of life across the galaxy. These cultural exchanges helped to cement a sense of shared destiny among the galaxy's myriad inhabitants, promoting peace through understanding and appreciation. As the galaxy moved forward, the story of its struggles and triumphs was commemorated in the Galactic Heritage Sites, a network of museums and educational centers established on many worlds. These sites preserved the history of the galaxy's darkest and brightest moments, serving as reminders of the costs of war and the priceless value of peace. In one of her final addresses as president, Sims stood before the Galactic Council, her voice resonant with emotion and conviction. "We have witnessed the strength that comes from unity, the progress that follows peace. Let us continue to build on these foundations, not forgetting the past, but learning from it. Let this era of peace be our legacy to future generations." Her speech was met with a standing ovation, a testament to her impact on the galaxy. As she stepped down from office, she left behind a galaxy fundamentally changed, more united and prosperous than when she had assumed leadership. The transition of power to the next president was smooth, with the new leader vowing to uphold the ideals that had transformed the galaxy. The challenges ahead were many, but the tools to address them had evolved, supported by a strong framework of alliances and institutions. Years later, as historians looked back on this pivotal period, they noted it as the time when the galaxy truly became a community, one where diverse peoples shared a common commitment to safeguard the greater good. The legacies of leaders like Sims, Lee, Ford, and Laron continue to inspire new generations to uphold the values of cooperation and peace. As the galaxy continued to navigate the uncertainties of the cosmos, the enduring legacy of this era of peace served as a guiding light, a beacon of hope for all who believed in the power of unity and the promise of a shared future.